The Last of Us Part 2 is kind of a touchy subject for a lot of people. You either hate it or you love it. It was a mixed bag, it seems like, and emotions are always high when talking about this game. And what I'm about to say, for The Last of Us 2 big fans, you're probably gonna hate it, but I recently played the brand new Chronological update that lets you play the game in sequence from beginning to end, linearly, in chronological order. And I think it's the better way to experience The Last of Us Part 2, and I'm gonna tell you why, so let's get into it. One of my biggest gripes about The Last of Us Part 2 originally was that we didn't really get the fallout of The Last of Us Part 1, the big moment where Joel lied to Ellie. We didn't really see the fallout of that, except every now and then throughout the main story of the game, after Joel had already been killed. So a lot of it sort of already lost its impact. It was weirdly placed in each story beat, and I just wasn't a fan of that. Like, what I was wanting to know about the most was, how was Joel and Ellie's relationship after she knows he lied about what happened at the Firefly base in the hospital? What's the friction of their relationship gonna be like after that? Will she be able to forgive him? And those questions are answered, but weirdly throughout the game. I just wasn't a fan of that. So in this new chronological update, you're actually getting all of that at the very beginning of the game. And Joel's death isn't so much placed at the very beginning of the game anymore. It's like, it's still early in the game, don't get me wrong, but I'm pretty sure Joel died within the first hour and a half. That just felt too quick. I was never a fan of that. Don't get me wrong, I understand their original intent with the way they wanted to tell the story in The Last of Us Part 2. They wanted to do big jumps in time. You're going back and forth. You go forward 3 days and you rewind and play as Abby and go forward 3 days. I get that. I just never liked it. And honestly, I'm surprised Sony even made this chronological update, because it sort of goes against everything that Neil Druckmann and the team was going for in terms of the story. But it's kind of what I always wanted. But thankfully, that's not all the context you're getting at the very beginning of the game in this chronological update version. You're also getting Abby's full backstory with her dad. It introduces Owen, it shows how long they've known each other, and it also kind of hints that she's always had a crush on him. But most importantly, you see Abby's dad die. You see it. And the reason why this is important, at least for me, is I never cared about Abby's reasoning. And the game didn't even tell you until like 3/4 through the game. So I personally didn't care. Whenever they told me, I still didn't care, because the salts were already in the wounds. They just killed Joel. Then they keep doing these flashbacks, making me feel even worse about myself. But no, like, I think showing Abby's motive at the beginning of the game is just smarter storytelling. And they actually did it in the TV show as well. Again, it sort of goes against everything they originally intended, the way they wanted to tell the story, but I still think it's better knowing why Abby killed Joel instead of literally he's killed in the first hour. You play through as Ellie through like 10-15 hour game, and then it rewinds, and then you play through the whole game pretty much as Abby, and you don't even know why she killed Joel, what's her backstory. You have no purpose to care about this character. And along with that, while you're playing as Ellie, you kill all of Abby's friends. So when it goes back in time to day one and you're playing as Abby, you already know all these characters are gonna die. But it's trying to like flesh out their backstory and like give you a reason to care about them, but you already know that their demise is very soon. This version, it gives you all of that backstory of those characters. You understand way more who Owen is as a character, and he's a very weird, interesting character. He has flaws, but he has a good heart. But he's also willing to abandon his baby that's in Mel's belly if it means being with Abby. And none of that really stuck with me, and I never really cared about any of it until I watched this story play out linearly. Because again, with the way it was told before, you already know they're dead. You don't care at that point. And whenever I went into this, playing this chronological mode, I tried to warp my brain back to 2019 and think, what if I would have played it this way originally? Let me try and view it from the perspective of someone who's never played the game. And I'm gonna try to experience it that way. And I'm really gonna open myself up to, you know, the rest of the cast of the characters that never really resonated with me. And I'm glad I did, because now I actually do care about the wolves. Character relationships and all that aside, doing the day 1, day 2, day 3 as Ellie, and then having this big climactic moment where it's a cliffhanger, and then rewinding time and going back and doing day 1, day 2, day 3 with Abby, I never liked that structure. It was probably my biggest criticism with the game. With the way it plays out now, it actually skips back and forth. Like you're not doing day 1 Ellie and then day 1 Abby. You're doing a little bit of day 1 as Ellie, a little bit of day 1 as Abby, and just back and forth. And the timelines and where they're at they sync up a lot more than you remember whenever you're playing it the old way. Like, Abby and Ellie are in a lot of similar or very close locations, and they don't even know it, and they never actually cross paths until obviously at the theater later in the game. Playing it in chronological order, at least I'm able to appreciate the story that they're telling a lot more, because I originally just hated the way it was structured. But let me know what you think down in the comments section below. Have you played The Last of Us Part 2 Chronological, and what did you think? If you disagreed with me, let me know. I'm sure there are a lot of people that are like really purists about The Last of Us Part 2, and I understand. A lot of people love the game. A lot of people hate it. And again, I'm kind of just in the middle. It has amazing combat, just not necessarily the story I would have told. But again, I think the chronological order is the way you should play the game if you've never played it before, but who hasn't played it by now, you know? But anyway, love you, bye.